found interesting was in order to conduct a social practice, we need to give it a certain meaning, have a conception of it, be able to think meaningfully about it.
Good. Yeah, I think you really identified key and useful terms and sentences. This one, you're right, absolutely essential. But at the same time, in the course of actual research, we do in fact separate in order to apprehend a manageable unit. So that's what we can focus in different ways, and we'll do that in the course. Yeah. But then at the end, coming back to saying, well, let's put it in a larger context. Yeah, good. And yeah, clearly, our notion of culture does not mean high culture, clearly. Yeah. We are going to be the lowest kind of culture. No.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and again, you've really done a good job. Keep this in mind so we can use these to help shape the way you see things and also help shape our discussions. Oh, okay. Oh, what did you say for this?
Yeah, that might be
I think this is going to be
As a Mac format.
a conversion problem.
Yeah.
Let me resend it.
Okay, let's go to group Z.
Very good. Doc X.
Okay, group Z.
Yes. We looked at Leslie Fiedler's text, Come Back to the Raft Again, Huck Honey. We identified the following key points. Homosexuality and blackness as a derogatory binary. That's where the text starts out, but it goes on to talk about homoerotic camaraderie in American literature, but also in general. And from there, we went to Hemingway, although that's not in the text. Why are people laughing? I don't know. Anyway, we went to this. All modern American literature comes from the book by Mark Twain called Huckleberry Finn. American writing comes from that. Then I can't read the quote here.
Then there was nothing before, there's been nothing since.
Right. We commented on this. Well, actually, we would like to discuss this quote. We have our own ideas about this quote, but we'll put this up for discussion. And maybe Gunther, who's filming a little bit while I'm speaking, could you carry on from where I left off, or maybe Kaylin?
What I found interesting in the discussion in the article was all this male camaraderie that we have here. The American football locker room or the baseball locker room in this, and then we kind of came to this Hemingway quote, and I have repeated it twice up there. I've since changed it, but he's sort of kind of this. He represents this sort of manly literary figure, despite how arrogant and so on he is. Hubertus talked about how, this quote is not about Mark Twain, it's about Hemingway himself. We kind of discussed that back and forth, and this is kind of something we wanted to pose a question to all of you about, is what do you think? Is this something, do you agree, disagree, and so on. And the theme of Huckleberry Finn and the camaraderie of Huck and Jim, and even Huck and Tom Sawyer in Adventures of Tom Sawyer and at the end of Huckleberry Finn. Just this camaraderie is a big deal in American literature. This boyhood theme is really important, and so that's kind of what we touched on here, and it kind of developed into that. So.
Yeah, Klaus and I were talking about Fiedler's essay, and I hadn't read it in a long time. It's amazing what he was saying, actually, many years ago. And I think you can make a real connection between this quote by Hemingway and Fiedler's point about Huck Finn as a boyhood, and that's that even when Raven says it's an imaginary river, this is an imaginary construction. of Huck Finn and of boyhood. And the notion in American literature, so much of what has been studied is American literature. Be careful, too, we don't equate American literature between that which has been written in what is now the United States. Very different. American literature was defined about 1920 in a very narrow way. It's been expanded since then, but okay. Yeah, and Raven begins with that same notion of recollecting the childhood thought of Huck Finn and the river, and it's a boyhood recollection, and it impels the journey. If you just had added opposition there, you would have gotten one of those terms checked off toward the free meal.
We felt binary was already enough.
Enough. You get an appetizer.
Thank you.
Is it on that list?
Yeah, and yeah,
Binary
yeah.
hybridity.
That notion of an imaginary. Oh, keep this in mind. When we go to Hannibal, it's really interesting the way they present Huck and Jim. Yeah. It's, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we? Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe we could get comments on other people from other people about this quote. I mean, how do you look at this quote? Can you take it seriously? That Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn is the starting point of American literature?
Can we bracket that sort of the
Sure.
holder for the? I'd say no, but and I can yeah, but no, I think you're absolutely right, especially when we get to Hannibal. Yep, let's see about in what way Huck can be an origin point. I think I heard you say it's more about Hemingway. Absolutely, much more about Hemingway than about American literature. But yeah. Yeah, just so we can give each group a little time
We'll
here.
come back and talk
Yeah.
about the Heath stuff.
I got it twice.
You can also
did you
walk
get it?
around. You don't
You
just
could
have
also
to.
walk around.
No,
Again?
I just carried the camera. It doesn't mean that I'm going to operate it for 3 weeks. We'll never
No, I
upload this.
keep filming you.